Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour. I've got a really interesting technology company and entrepreneur to introduce you tonight. Niilo is the co-founder and CEO of Inven, an AI-powered deal sourcing platform, which is transforming how M&A professionals find opportunities in the private markets. He's coming to us from Finland. He's got a background in strategic consulting at McKinsey and experience across fintech, banking, and entrepreneurship. He brings sharp analytical insight to the intersection of finance and technology, and under his leadership, Inven was featured in Tech EU's list of the hottest early-stage Nordic fintech companies for 2025. Niilo, welcome to the show, sir.
Hi, Brian. Great to meet you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So tell me, what is Inven? What is this AI-powered deal sourcing platform?
Exactly. So what we do at Inven is we're really good at finding and analyzing companies based on what these companies are actually doing. So I don't know if you've ever done that kind of work where you have to go through thousands of companies manually and analyze them and fetch data for them.
Not thousands, but I've certainly done dozens, maybe even
it takes a lot of time.
Hundred.
It takes a lot of time. And when we were working, I was working at McKinsey, co-founder of BCG, we came across this kind of similar problem of spending weeks doing this very manual task. And that's where we got the idea that, hey, we really can automate this process because AI can go through all of these websites for us. It can fetch all of that data into one place and enable you to analyze markets in a significantly more faster way.
So you're going to get rid of equity research analysts. All of the work is going to be done by AI.
It's going to take years for that, but I mean, hopefully, as we go further and further, I mean, it's going to be they're going to be able to focus on more interesting things as they get better and better used.
And all these consultants at McKinsey or all the the associates at Morgan Stanley, all the due diligence is going to be done by your AI.
Well, that's going to take a very long time, but in practice, they are using our platform and being able to do more complex analysis that they weren't able to do before. So that's kind of making everything better.
So I had a job at Morgan Stanley, and I would stay up until 2:00 in the morning, going through annual reports and balance sheets and putting together these blue books that had little comparative studies of each one of these companies in the competitive marketplace. So you're telling me that's what your AI is going to do? It's going to get rid of my great summer job?
It's a bit adjacent to it. So the part where we really shine is, you've done the kind of large company analysis. That's a bit different. Where we are really the world's best at is whenever it comes to all of the middle market companies, smaller companies, because you can't find equity research on them. But you can find their website, you can find news articles on them, and you can find all kinds of other data, but it takes a lot of work putting that all together, and there won't be an equity research. So that's the data where we really are the world's best, those kind of lower middle market companies, and analyzing those, because you can't get like a ready-made equity analyst research for them.
So this is fascinating. So tell me, who would be your customer? Who's going to be? It's what, family offices or private equity companies or who?
It's a lot of private equity. It's a lot of investment banks. It's corporate M&A teams. It's consultancies. Anybody really working in M&A in some capacity. That's when it works really well.
And what's your AI? Is it your own proprietary AI, or is it ChatGPT, or what is it?
We're using a lot of stuff in the back end. It's a kind of constant optimization of what works best. But in the back end, there's a lot of kind of analyzing companies, analyzing the website. So that takes massive volumes of these kind of LLMs. But obviously, we don't have like our own LLM or anything like that. So using a lot of the ready-made ones.
Please remind everyone what an LLM is.
Yeah, so a large language model, so ChatGPT, etc.
Okay, so you're using some other large language models that other people create and license out or whatever, and you've added onto it this front end that analyzes all of these private companies and pumps out what, a report or a dashboard or a what?
It's typically like a list of companies and their data. So a big part of it is just finding the companies, but an equally big part of that is also getting the right data on those companies, like the information point, like what the company actually doing, how big they are, who are the core people, what funding rounds they have done. And all of this data is constantly changing, and you have to be updating that on a daily basis for it to actually kind of create value, while ChatGPT, etc., can only be updated on a very kind of slow basis in a way.
Fascinating. And how much does this cost? How does someone log in? How does someone register?
Yeah, you go on our website, log into the platform, or sign up and meet our team, and you'll get a more direct quote from them than you will from me.
Okay, so is this $100, $1,000, $1 million? What? Give me a
It's
sense.
closer to thousands of dollars per license, is the ballpark that we're playing around there per year.
Any free 30-day trial?
Typically, we do trials with our customers. That just it's the easiest way to sell it. Try it for a week, see how it works. You'll love it after that and want to continue using it.
So why a fintech to look at private company opportunities from Finland?
Well, I guess the part from Finland is just like a historical thing. Most of our focus is on the US market, and that's where most of our customers are. I think the Finland part is mostly about just the founders happen to be there when we started the company.
Okay, and is your back office, is your computer, is your whatever in Finland?
Yeah, the tech team and everything is in Finland, and then the sales team is split between New York and Helsinki.
Fantastic. So, I used to see this one website that was really good at tracking VC equity rounds. Is that something that your package would do?
It's a part of it, definitely. So whenever there's a news article out there that, hey, a company has raised funding, our AI will go through these news articles, put that data into our database, and then all of our kind of VC customers can get pings that, hey, there's been a new round, and they can kind of search based on that. It's part of the core offering.
And so, they would send out an update on a fairly regular basis of companies you were tracking about what was going on from a funding standpoint. So with your what do I call it? An app or an AI or a platform, or what do I call it?
Platform is probably the correct word.
A platform. Okay. And with your platform, do I have to tell them what companies I'm interested in, or what industries I'm interested in, or just tell me everything about everybody?
You make a search. You search for something, and our customers typically, they're not looking at the kind of AI companies or something like that. They're more on the traditional private equity side. So looking for, I don't know, HVAC installation companies, and you write into our software, I want to find HVAC installation companies, and then it gives you a list of thousands of those, and that's going to be every single HVAC installation company out there. And the beauty of it is that in the past, you would have required humans to go through like millions of websites, which is like impossible. But because we've done it like beforehand with AI, you can actually get like a next level accuracy on those lists with the kind of recent developments with AI.
Now, I have to do credit checks on people on a fairly regular basis. Do you have that kind of credit check information?
Not yet. Not yet. In the very long term, we want to have like all relevant company data in our platform. So credit checks is one relevant data point for some customers, but it's not something that our customers want yet. But if we look into the 10 years in the future and we're having every single company data point, that's when it starts becoming relevant.
Okay. And what industry sectors? I'm involved in the real estate development business and in the VC area. Are these HVAC companies, or are they other industry subsegments?
So all industries will work as long as they have websites. So we're like a website-based database. Every company that has a website should be in our database. So it's going to work really well basically everywhere in the US, Europe, etc. Maybe slightly worse in China, Africa, etc. But it works as long as the companies have websites.
Really fascinating. So if I wanted to do a study of venture capital companies focusing in the biotech space, I could do that and get
exactly. Just write,
rounds.
I want to find this kind of companies and then filter for VCs that have invested into those. It's going to work really well.
Really? That's interesting. And what about companies that are doing specific things? Do I get to ask questions like, I want to know the companies that are in phase 2 development or phase 3 development? Can you narrow the search with, what stage of development someone's in?
That's a good point. They have to mention it on their website at the moment. So if they mention it somehow on their website, like phase 2 or we are in phase 3, then you definitely can search for it. but they have to mention it on their website. In the future, it's enough that they mention it in news articles, but at the moment, you still have to have it so that they mention it on the website, and then you can search for it.
Fascinating. And how have things gone so far with your firm? Have you raised your own monies, and how have your fundraising gone?
Yeah, I mean, it's been going really well. We started the company 3 years ago. We started getting customers properly 2 years ago, and I think we now have over 700 customers. So it's scaling really well, and hopefully a funding round coming soon as well.
Excellent. And if I want to go check it out, what website should I go to check it out?
Inven.ai.
Spell it, please.
INVEN.ai.
.ai. Fascinating. I'm going to have to go check it out. Last question, if I could. So if I wanted to look for real estate development companies that are actually raising investor money through limited partnerships or things like that, I can get very specific in my query.
So you can get the right companies, definitely. And then we have some signals for that they might be more likely to raise based on, when they last raised funding, et cetera, et cetera. But fundraising is often difficult because the companies don't publicly say that out loud. We have indications for it, but then even if you don't find any indication that they're raising right now, you can export the contact data of those owners, founders, partners at these companies and send them a message and ask them out. So that's a big part of our platform as well.
So, if I was doing that work today, I would be going into Google or something like that. I would be putting in something about the companies. I would get a list of 15 websites or 20 websites, and I'd have to go through and read each one of those websites. I'd have to look for the information that I wanted and try to have to copy it over it into an Excel file or something like that to create my database. You're effectively automating all that.
Exactly. So you just write what the company should be doing, add your filters, like, size, et cetera, and then you export it directly into an Excel file and include the contact data already there. So you have it ready-made in an Excel in a minute instead of a dozen hours.
So I get these pitches from website people all the time about search engine optimization, and they say that they can help me get to the top of a Google listing by spending too much money on them, and they do whatever they do, and they can upgrade my my SEO. I don't even know what SEO means, and effectively what they're suggesting is that they can almost fool the Google as to how important I am. Can people fool you into how important they are?
I don't think that's happening at all in our platform because basically the things we are looking at are like major news articles, how many employees you have on LinkedIn, what you say that you do on your website. It's a very different type of filtering and searching than the Google articles. Because Google articles, when you're doing SEO, you typically have your kind of articles or like posts that you make for SEO purposes, but we're looking at your products and your services of what you actually do. And you want those to be accurate because your customers are going to be looking at your website as well. So we're looking at the same information as the kind of company's customers. So typically the results are really good that way.
Let me take a big step back for a second, since you're so involved in this sector, and ask you a question if I could. I was at a conference this past week on AI, and they said that this is going to be as radical a change to the marketplace as the creation of the internet, and that if you're not dabbling in, if not frankly using some AI applications now, you'll be left behind forever. What's your answer to that? Do you agree? Do you disagree? What's your sense of how important AI is going to be to the marketplace?
I agree. And the way I see it is that in every kind of specific software section, there is a disruption happening where the AI first players are taking market share from the kind of legacy players in a way. A good example would be our industry, where there's a lot of like these companies that have manually inputted this data, but we're doing it all automated with AI. I'm sure there's like AI-powered outreach tools, AI-powered CRM tools that are all taking kind of market share from the legacy tools of these spaces. And I feel like that's happening in almost every software niche out there.
The counter argument is that AI is going to take over the world and take over humans and be able to launch nuclear war against us all. Are you worried about AI?
I'm not worried in that. I'm not worried at all in that way. It's so damn hard to make an AI that makes a search work slightly better. So doing anything else that's a bit more complex seems very, very hard, at least for our team.
I really appreciate you joining us. Remind us what the website is that we should go if we want to get that 30-day free trial.
Inven.ai.
Thanks so much. It sounds like a fascinating technology. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to put in a couple of queries. I'm going to see how it works, and I'll let you know.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brian.
That's our show for tonight, everybody. Some fascinating companies out there in lots of different industries, and I do think that AI could be a fairly dramatic change. I remember, I'm a little bit older than you, but I remember when I got my first personal computer on my desk, and some people thought that no, this isn't going to change things, and other people said, yeah, it's going to change things fairly dramatically. And gosh, personal computers have certainly changed things. And then I can remember doing the searches that you're talking about before the internet, and then after the internet, and my God, life changed fairly dramatically. So I think AI is going to be even more radical a change than any of those. So appreciate you joining us, and good luck with your company.
Thank you, Brian.
That's our show for tonight, everybody. Thank you for joining. I remind you, I'm on every Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock on 960 AM. You can stream me online at www.saga960am.ca. On my podcasts and videos are up on my website and on social media as soon as the radio show gets broadcast to air. I'm going to have to figure out how I can do my shows better through AI. Maybe we can talk about that sometime. That would be interesting.
Good.
Thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. Thank you. I appreciate it, Niilo. Good night.